Sales meetings, the one thing that drives the most success and the most revenue at most B2B companies. Now, most people have no idea how to predictably generate these. They'll do cold email, run ads, etc. But most of the time, these things don't work, especially in 2025. And I'll break down exactly why that's happening and what you can do to counter that. So this is how you can book meetings with anybody, and I mean anybody you want. It's what's working in 2025, and it's how we're booking 20 plus qualified meetings each and every month for ourselves and our customers using cold and warm calling. Now, we're not just booking meetings for small companies. Some of these are enterprise level companies, so you can really get into anyone's inbox. So why should you be calling in the first place? So B2B sales has dramatically changed in the last few years. In 2020, you could send tens of thousands of emails to people and book hundreds of meetings easily. And today, if you get just one meeting from those 10,000, you're doing well. That's how hard it is to get success with cold email at the moment. The market's become saturated. There are AI spam filters from these major email providers like Google and Outlook, and email sending platforms allow anybody to send tens of thousands of emails a month for just about $100. So this creates noise in an inbox. And when there's noise, the level and the quality of the emails drop and everyone has a bad perception of email. I don't know if you've noticed your inbox at the moment, but I bet it's filled with a bunch of AI emails that you just put into spam or you close, you don't even open them. They're not worth your time. Now, I relate to that as well. I don't look at any emails anymore, but here's where the opportunity lies. Now, email does still work, but for a select type of company. So to qualify to have a shot at doing well with email, you should have three things. One, a large TAM. So your total available market should be over 10,000 contacts. Two, you should have a great offer, something that's a no-brainer that nobody can say no to, and it's just too good to pass up. And three, you want to be selling to smaller companies. So small companies with only a few employees, that's where you're going to see most success. But for most businesses, and probably like yourself, this just isn't the case. You're not selling to that audience, and it's just not your target market. Here's the truth. The best way to find out if somebody has a problem that needs solving is by talking to them. And we can do that by calling them. The one main advantage I would say for cold calling is nobody really does it. I don't know about you, but I've seen most people sticking to emails and DMs because it feels easier and you can get it set up, you can run it in the background and you don't have to do any hard work. The problem is everyone does the same thing. So personally, I get hundreds and hundreds of emails every single day, but I get zero cold calls. If someone takes the time to call me personally, I'll answer. As a salesperson, as a marketing person, I like to listen to a pitch. I love a pitch. So if someone can speak to me on the phone, give me a pitch and actually solve a problem of mine, I'm going to be inclined to listen to them. And it's much easier to do that via the phone. So while everyone's fighting for space in an inbox, there's an opportunity that nobody or not many people are targeting. So getting started is pretty easy. And I'll break it down into four main areas for you here. So we have mapping your TAM, we have enriching phone numbers, we have cold calling versus warm calling, and we have setting up intent signals. Now, these are the four main areas that I think you should focus on, and we'll jump right into mapping your TAM. A TAM just stands for total available market. So this is everybody in your ICP that you can reach out to. So anybody that you can sell to, whatever job titles they are, whatever country they're in, these are the people that you can sell to. And this could be the most important part, is who you're going to be calling. So getting this right is going to be a make or break for you. For example, if you're selling Facebook ad services to people and you call somebody on the product team, it's probably a bad move. If you're selling Facebook ad marketing services, you want to probably talk to the founder, the CEO, or the marketing department because that's their wheelhouse. So we need to break down a few different things when mapping our TAM. Who are we selling to? What's their job title? What country are they in? How big is the company, etc. There's more fields that you can break it down into, but these are some good places to start. You want to break them down into segments. This is going to allow you to easily map out lists of people that are very similar. So marketing leaders, sales leaders, etc. You can break them down into different segments. So when you're talking to these people, they all have similar problems. A great tool to build these lists cheaply is clay.com. So clay.com is like Apollo. You can basically pull information directly from LinkedIn, which is the most up-to-date B2B source of leads because people are always updating their profiles, updating where they work. For B2B, it's great and it pulls directly from LinkedIn. So you've got filters like Apollo, where you have the industries to include, the company size, different funding amounts, company types, so public, private. You have description keywords as well, so you can get really granular, checking what's in people's descriptions, and so on. You can do the same thing when you're finding people at those companies. So you basically want to build your TAM in here, segment it into different segments, and then we can basically find phone numbers for these people. Now, this is where we get to number enrichment. The reason I went with Clay for building out your TAM is inside of Clay, it's actually an enrichment platform. So you can do all types of enrichment. You can find out all sorts of information for each company in your list at scale. So we can essentially run a waterfall sequence. Now, what happens here, Clay will basically check each provider in this list to see if they have the phone number of each person in the list. So for each cell in the list, it's going to run, okay, can we find the phone with this provider here, Forager? Can we find it with Lead Magic? Can we find it with Prospeo? If it finds it, it's going to push it to a verification where they essentially check if the phone number is valid. So when you pick up the phone, it's actually going to dial someone and it's not a dud number. Going to check that. And if it's a tick, if it's found the number, it's going to mark it as email valid and you'll have the phone number next to the person's name. Now it's going to run it for all of these providers to find as many phone numbers as possible. So we don't have to rely on one provider. And the beautiful thing with Clay is you don't have to have subscriptions for each of these providers. You can use your Clay credits, which you pay for, to essentially find the numbers here. And you don't have to have subscriptions for any of these. Now we got onto the fun part, actually calling the people. So there's two main areas, like I said, there's cold calling and there's warm calling. And I'll break down both of them as we get to them, but I'm going to start with cold calling for now. So cold calling are people that know nothing about you. They don't know who you are, what you do, or they might not even know about your solution. So this is the hardest type of person to convert. But if you're trying to grow a B2B company and you're watching this video and you're looking for help to book calls, you probably, are going to be needing to sell to cold leads. So here's the structure that you can follow when picking up the phone with someone. So you want to start with a permission-based opener. So respecting the prospect's time, basically lower the resistance right away. An example of this would be, hey name, this is your name from company. I know I'm calling out of the blue. Do you have a quick minute? So you're just asking for permission to take up a bit of their time. Some people will say no, and that's fine. But some people will say yes. Most people will say yes, especially if you're calling to B2B people. Keep it short, polite. You're asking for time. You're not pitching them anything at the moment. You're just asking for time. So once we get through this and they say yes, we're going to go into a soft pitch. This is sparking curiosity without overwhelming them. So you don't want to say, we do Facebook ads, we do Google ads, we do all this, blah, blah, blah. You're trying to get them onto a call. You're not trying to sell them your service right now. Remember that. You're just trying to sell the meeting, selling them the time to talk to them about your service. So you're basically just hooking them in, getting your foot in the door here. So for example, we work with company types and we help them solve X problem. The better and more specific you can make this problem to that person's job title. So say they're a head of marketing, if you can solve a super specific problem quickly for that person and explain that to them on the call, they're going to be more likely to talk to you. Again, it goes back to the relevance if that person has a problem. So you're asking, what's the most common problem that my ICP has? And is it going to resonate with them? So stay benefit focused. So outcome, benefit, and not product heavy. So don't talk about, we do this, our product does this. Talk about the problem they might have, ask about the problem, then position, we've got a solution to this and this is what it does, the benefits of it. So from a higher level, not talking about how you do it. So what do they get, not how you do it. But if they say yes, you can position more discovery questions. Now, this isn't a discovery call, so you want to keep this quite shallow. You don't want to talk too much about this, but this is just to engage them by shifting the focus onto their situation rather than you straight away. So it's how are you currently handling that problem that we know you're now experiencing? What's your biggest challenge when it comes to X? So asking these leading questions, and I wouldn't ask too many of these, just establish they have the problem. Listen actively here. This gives you leverage in your pitch later on. So then the proof-based pitch is like, okay, so it seems you have this problem. We do X, positioning your benefit again, and we've done it for X, Y, Z. So you can show your results and credibility based on their challenges. For example, other job titles and industry peers. So people that are similar to their company and their position, explaining how you've worked with them and you've reduced their problem, and you basically solve that problem. It increases the perceived likelihood of success in their mind. and they might give you the time of day to actually have a further discussion on a discovery call. So keep it short, reliable, and measurable. Just drop that as a pitch. And then if they're like, oh, that sounds just interesting, position into an offer and a close. So booking the appointment. Transition smoothly into this to secure time on their calendar. And the steps here would be position the meeting as valuable. So it's like on the meeting, you get X, Y, Z, even if you don't sign up for our service or product, etc. So it could be, if you take this call with us, you're going to know that what you're doing right now is the best possible solution that you could have. And you walk away knowing that, what you're doing right now is working, or, you might end up working with us, whatever it is. You could even do more valuable things like we'll do a full audit for you. We'll break down a strategy for you, give you X, Y, Z. It depends how much you can give away operationally. But the more you can give away on this, the better. And it's going to be easier for you to get them onto the meeting with you. So then give them a choice of times as well. Don't just say, does X work for you? Say, does Tuesday at 10 a.m., Thursday work for you? So give them an option to choose. And then that assumes the close as well. So if you assume the close by saying, does X or Y work for you, rather than saying, can we do a call? It's not a yes or no. It's what time does work for you. So you're giving them, it's a little sales hack you can use there. So then confirm the details, send them over a calendar link, and then make sure that on the call they accept the meeting, just so you know that they're going to show, or there's a more likely chance they're going to show, just so they've got that in their calendar and it's then on their calendar. Let's jump onto warm calling. So now you can close people via cold, which is the most important. You're going to have a much easier time talking to people that you already know. So warm calling is kind of dependent on the situation of the prospect. If they know you and you've talked to them before, so you've had a conversation on LinkedIn, you've had a conversation on email, you talked to them in DMs, or it's just a past friend or someone, calling them, obviously you want to open with, hey, Tom, we spoke on LinkedIn, we spoke on email, we spoke about XYZ 6 months ago, whatever it is. That's super easy to get in the door with them. And then you can jump into your cold pitch from there. We're doing XYZ now. This might relate to you, whatever. They're super easy calls to do. But a lot of the time, warm calling isn't that simple. Warm can also mean people visiting your site. So that's a warm lead. Someone knows about your company, but they've never spoke to you. And the reason we don't want to jump on the call and go, hey, saw you on our site, that's super creepy. And people are really put off by that. We've tried it before. It does not work. Do not do that. So if you're tracking website visits, you're tracking people engaging with your LinkedIn, don't tell them that that's why you're reaching out to them. Just use that as a signal to reach out. So someone visiting your site, James, head of marketing at XYZ company, it's a really good idea to reach out to that person if they're visiting your website, but you can just jump straight into your cold pitch and just act like it's a cold call. But then they'll be like, oh, that's so weird. I was literally looking at your website last week or last Tuesday, whatever it is. That's so cool. And then you can be like, play it off and be like, oh, that's interesting. Well, what a coincidence. But deep down, that you're doing targeted outreach there. So don't mention that on the call. Don't mention where you've seen them, but use it as a signal to reach out. Just tell them the company that you're calling from. So we're calling from Advanced Client, whatever it is. They'll be like, oh, literally heard about you the other day, which is super useful. And it makes you seem like a better sales professional. And again, it's not a one size fits all here. These leads do need a more dynamic approach. So you need to assess each lead as they come. Do we tell this person that we saw them on the site, whatever it is. And then you basically assess the lead based on their situation, as warm leads won't come around as often as cold calling. So these are just one-off leads usually, unless you're doing a lot of demand generation at the top of funnel, you're generating lots of leads and a lot of people are visiting your website. It might be a different situation. So we want to set up these signals so we can actually see who is doing what. So is someone visiting our website, someone liking our content, etc. You want to set up signals if you're doing any of the following. So you're doing content marketing. So you're putting stuff on LinkedIn, you're putting stuff on Reddit, you're putting stuff on any social media platforms. People are going to be engaging with content and seeing it. So they're warm leads. Paid ads, people that are looking at your ads. SEO, you're driving more traffic to your site. Podcasts as well, that's going to generate leads, and cold emails. So any of this is demand generation. You're generating top of funnel activity, pulling eyes to you, your product or service. And we can capture these people, or we can capture a lot of them. So here are some good ones. Site visits. This is great because paid ads go to your site. Most of that traffic will go to your site. SEO, most of that will go to your site. Podcasts, cold emails as well. People will look at your stuff, look at your email, and then go and look at you or search you up on the internet. So that's super good to capture all of that. The only other one we can do is content on LinkedIn. So what we can do here is track people engaging with our likes, our comments, specifically with a tool called Triggerfy. And this allows us to reach out to those people as well. So to track site visits, we'll focus mainly on site visits here. We can use two tools. We can use a tool called RB2B and a tool called Vector.co. Now they both track contact level site visits in the UK. So that track finds people that are on your site in the USA, not the UK. We can't do the UK, we can't do Europe due to GDPR laws, but in the USA, you can track anybody as these laws don't exist. So to get this set up, it's super easy. Sign up to both of them. They'll give you a small pixel, which you install into your website, into the header of your website, and you're done. It's going to start picking up people instantly. And it's about 60 to 70% of the people on your site. And it's going to give you their LinkedIn profile. It's going to give you other company information like company domain. If you pay for the tool, you can get emails and phone numbers as well. But a top tip for you, Vector actually has a free plan for up to 1,000 visits per month. So for a small company, most of the time you won't even be identifying 1,000 people. So you can essentially get this for free by installing Vector. So go over to the website and make sure you use that ASAP. Now, a small caveat here is that all of these leads won't be qualified. Random people will visit your site. There'll be random people from random roles as well. And you're going to want to do some qualification. The cool thing about Clay is you can push them dynamically into Clay via a webhook, and you can qualify the leads inside of Clay. So you can ask different questions like, is this company a B2B company? Is this person the head of marketing or the head of sales? Does this company have over 1,000 employees, etc.? What's their revenue? And then you can qualify them based on that. Exclude the unqualified ones, and you can push the qualified ones into your phone enrichment, and then you can call them. So what we offer and might offer to you is 2 UK/US based experienced callers that can be up and running within just 10 days of onboarding. We handle all the tech costs. We build the TAM. We do the data enrichment, training, the management, etc. So you get $4,000 a month guaranteed, 10 to 20 meetings a month with your dream ICP, UK/US based callers, total PAM coverage so we can call everybody in your TAM, and a 10-day turnaround. And some of the recent results that we've had using this system is over $2 million worth of pipeline for a customer of ours, and that was just in two months. 170 meetings with a lighting design firm. So if this sounds interesting, there's going to be more information below. There'll be a link where you can speak to me directly, or you can have a look at our website. Either or, it's going to be in the description. So start calling. It's going to be worth your while. I can guarantee that.